The Nikon D600 is a full-frame sensor DSLR. It is Nikon's smallest FX camera, but there's plenty of buttons and dials on this body, and some of them serve multiple purposes. So let's take a look. Here's the front of the camera. On the right, you can see the D600 badge and the FX badge indicating that the body contains a full-frame sensor. Above where it says D600, there is a built-in microphone, and then there is a sort of triangle shape that is an infrared receiver. This is where the camera receives information from the optional remote control. Moving over, this is the flash button. This will pop up the onboard flash. Then it will change the flash mode when you hold it down and turn the rear command dial. When you press the flash button and turn the front command dial, you can change the flash compensation. Then there's the bracketing button, where you adjust the bracketing settings by pressing the button and turning the command dials. Next is the lens release button and the lens mounting mark. Then the focus controls. You turn the dial to choose manual or autofocus, and you press the button and turn the command dials to choose your autofocus modes. In the middle is the body cap. Moving to the left, here is the function button, which you configure in the menus. It can serve a number of functions. Moving up is the depth of field preview button, which you can also configure to perform other functions in the menus. Then you have this lamp, which serves several functions. It is the autofocus assist lamp, the self-timer lamp, and the red eye reduction lamp. Last, you have the front command dial. That leads us to the top of the camera with the on-off switch, which will illuminate the command window for a few moments when you toggle it past on. In the middle is the shutter release button. Here is the exposure compensation button. You press it and turn the rear command dial to adjust it. The green dot here means that this button is also one part of the two-button reset. Next is the movie record button and the metering button. You press the button and turn the rear command dial to change the metering mode. It is also a part of the two-button method of formatting memory cards. This is the command window. Lots of information here. Here is the hot shoe. And on this side is the mode dial. You press this release button in the middle and can change the exposure mode. Then there's this button, which releases the release mode dial. You can see the release mode dial and its release button here. Beneath that is the playback button, where you can review your photos, and the trash button, where you can delete photos. The trash button is also the second button in the two-button memory card formatting method. Next to that is the viewfinder and the diopter adjustment dial. Then the auto exposure / autofocus lock button. You can assign exactly how this button behaves in the menus, but it can do a few variations of locking exposure and focus. Then is the rear command dial. Here is the multi-selector and OK button, which are how to navigate and make choices in the menus, and the focus selector lock. When you move this switch to L, you lock your focus point in place. Under that is the ambient brightness sensor. This controls how bright your menu appears. Then there is the Live View button, which you press to switch to Live View, and the Live View selector, which determines whether you are in still photography live view or movie live view. And under that is the Info button, which brings up and allows you to make changes in the info screen. And here is the speaker and the memory card access lamp. This will light up when the memory card is being accessed. And an additional infrared receiver. In the middle is the LCD screen. Then to the left is the menu button, which brings up and turns off the menus. Under that is the retouch / picture control button. If you press this when the LCD screen is off, the picture control menu item comes up. If you press it when you have an image in playback on the screen, the retouch menu options will appear. This is the help / protect / white balance button. If you press and hold this button when the LCD screen is off, you can change your white balance setting by turning the command dials. If you press and hold when you are on a menu item, information on that item will appear on screen. Or if you press it when you have an image in playback on the screen, the key icon will appear, which means that the image is protected from deletion, meaning that you can't use the trash can button to delete the image. The next one down is the zoom in / quality button. If you press and hold the button while turning the command dials, you will change the image quality. If you press it while an image is up in playback, you will zoom into the image. You can use the multi-selector to move around the image here. And the last button on the back of the camera is the zoom in / ISO button. If you press and hold this button when the LCD screen is off and turn the command dials, you can change your ISO sensitivity or switch to or from auto ISO. If you press this button when there is an image on screen, you zoom out or go to various sizes of thumbnails. You use the zoom in button above it to go back to larger thumbnails or zooming in. The zoom out button is also the second button in the two-button reset that I mentioned earlier. On this side of the camera, you have several doors. On the top is for audio connectors, your headphones or external microphone. Next is the cover for the USB connector and the HDMI mini pin connector. And last is the cover for the accessory terminal, which is for a remote cord or a GPS unit. On the other side of the camera is the memory card door and 2 SD card slots. On the bottom of the camera, there is the tripod socket. And then this is the battery chamber cover where the battery is. In here you can also see this other door, which is where the cord can come through when you are using the AC power adapter. And last is this cover, which is for the connector for the optional battery grip. That's it for my tour of the Nikon D600 body. Let me know if you have any questions.